From investigators right now. Let's check in with them now.
Concern that our communities rightly have, and so we want to share with you what we have at this moment. What I can tell you at this moment was approximately 15 minutes ago. The subject that we were looking for, the person of interest, Robert Cremo III, was spotted by a North Chicago unit at Buckley and 41. His vehicle, the vehicle that we were looking for. He attempted to initiate a traffic stop on that subject. That subject did flee. A brief pursuit went on. Ultimately, they were able to get the subject stopped at Wesley and 41 in Lake Forest. The subject was taken into custody without incident. So at this point, I, again, want to reiterate, things are moving very quickly, as they do, unfortunately. And we just want to keep you updated with the most relevant information. The person of interest is now being taken to the Highland Park Police Department, where we're going to begin the next phase of the investigation and speak with this person to make sure or see if in fact he is connected to this incident. So that's really where we're at right now. I would say, barring anything significant coming out of that interview, this probably would be our last press conference for this evening. We'll see how things go, but not sure how that's all going to work out. As you know, it's a work in progress. So please bear with us and let the process play out. Appreciate it. I can take any quick questions, but I may not have the information because we're talking 15 minutes.
Was there a chase at all?
There was a brief pursuit. Absolutely. A brief pursuit.
High speed?
I don't have the speeds.
How were officers able to get him to stop?
He ultimately came to a stop.
The person of interest that we're talking about here is
Robert Cremo III. That is correct. The person we came out initially and gave you the information on.
That stop ended at Wesley and 41.
Wesley and 41.
Who spotted him?
It was a North Chicago police officer who was stationed on 41 with his eyes open.
And what would it take for this person of interest to be referred to as a suspect?
Again, yeah, we're going to have to positively connect them to the scene, and really, we want to do our due diligence. We put the name out there. We want to make sure we have a number of things that would imply that this is a good person of interest. But in due deference, we want to make sure you all understand that. We want to make sure that we're following the process and doing everything we need to do to bring this to a successful conclusion.
Was he alone?
Pretty strong.
Yeah, at this point, I can't that's where we're at.
Do you know if he was alone?
I don't know that answer.
He was
Okay,
spotted in North Chicago.
North Chicago on 41.
In Lake Forest.
That is
What
correct.
do you say? Wesley?
Wesley.
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 L-E-I-D.
That's correct. All right. So again, unless something significant happens tonight, we're going to let the process play out. We are still continuing to process any information that's coming in. We certainly want to make sure that if anybody's got information, video, or anything of that nature, to please. This doesn't necessarily mean it's over, but we're certainly we're encouraged that we have a person of interest. But again, we're going to pursue and continue to pursue everything that comes in. So thank you very much.
So here we are, more than 8 hours after this tragedy first unfolded. Let's keep listening here for a moment.
Update, and just to reiterate one thing the chief said, to name a person of interest doesn't come lightly. There is a lot of investigative work that has gone into this. We've got, as mentioned before, hundreds of investigators here on scene from our federal partners, Highland Park Police, Lake County Major Crime, doing an incredible job. They processed a significant amount of digital evidence today, which helped lead investigators in this direction. So calling somebody a suspect or person of interest, it's really synonymous. Okay, so this individual is believed to have been responsible for what happened, and the investigation will continue. Charges have not been approved yet at this time, and we're a long way from that. There's still a long investigation, and there are a lot of efforts that are going to continue tonight. So if we have more information later on, we will certainly update the media so it can get out to the community.
Which agency actually captured the suspect?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, sir.
Which agency actually arrested Cremo?
So North Chicago Police initially spotted the vehicle. They called in reinforcements, and a number of area police officers responded to that scene, and it was a collaborative effort to take him into custody. Okay?
Can you guys spell your name again, especially you?
Jogman, Jogmen.
And what's your first
First name Lou, L-O-U. Police Highland Park.
Great.
Okay. Thank you.
Wow. And so finally, a bit of relief on this grief-filled day as investigators announced that at 6:30 or so, police arrested the suspect who they identified as Bobby Cremo. The third, he was in that vehicle that you see, and it started with an eagle-eyed North Chicago police officer who was situated on 41, happened to spot the vehicle, identified that the suspect was inside the vehicle, attempted to make a traffic stop, initiated that. But at that point, they say that Cremo then took off. A brief chase ensued, but eventually the chase came to an end right at this intersection here, and police made an arrest, and no injuries were reported throughout that process.
No incident as they tried to arrest him, so he did not put up a fight. He
Good
will
job.
be taken to the Highland Park Police
and
Department for
detectives
questioning,
and getting
where,
this
as
guy.
they say, they will make that positive match to go from calling him a person of interest to, in fact, calling him a suspect, and then moving on to getting those charges approved later tonight. But again, they still got a long road ahead for those police officers and investigators who have been looking into this throughout the day today. In the meantime, as you see that scene there, which is, again, where he was arrested today, there was an individual by the name of Frank who was driving by, who managed to send me some video. I will play it for you in just a second, but I believe that we've got Frank on the phone with us. Are you there, Frank?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Frank. So I am led to believe by my producers that you were driving through this area and you actually spotted as police were taking him out of the vehicle and were making this arrest. Tell me what you saw, and I will try to play the video here.
We were coming from another accident that was at 41 in Old Elm Road. We unloaded our car and we were coming north, and we seen a lot of commotion. I said, "Oh, what the hell's going on?" And as I pulled up to approach the intersection, I seen the front face nose of the Honda, and that's when I turned my camera on right away and put two and two together. This is the car. This is what it was. And as I was driving by, I seen that it was the shooter, and we just taped it and said, "Oh, this is terrible things to happen with these poor kids. They can't even see a parade." And that's it. You know, at least they got the kid.
Oh. So Frank, when you said you saw the shooter, as you put it, you actually had your eyes on this individual as you guys were driving by?
They had him wrestled to the ground as we were coming up.
Frank, were you able to capture that video of him being pulled out of the car? Because what I'm looking at now is as you're driving through that road, what is it, 41?
Yeah, you have to look at the first two videos I had sent.
Okay, I'll keep looking as you talk to us.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you at the parade today, Frank?
I'm sorry, was I at the parade?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't. I was not at the parade.
Yeah, but you've been tracking the story here as much of Chicago is, throughout the day here. What went through your head?
I'm in the towing business in Highland Park. I'm the owner and operator of Pro Towing. And, I do a lot of police towing for departments in this area. And I knew that they were looking for this car, so I was keeping my eye out as well. And that's when I spotted it right away.
Wow. And so you said you saw police pull him out of the vehicle and had him face down on the ground?
Yes, sir. They had him face down on the ground, wrestling him to handcuff him.
Wow. How many officers would you say were a part of that? Because it appeared to us that there was a North Chicago officer.
At that present time, there was probably about 6-7 people that were on top of him.
Yeah, as we understood it, there was a chase that ensued. So you would imagine, rightly so, that there were a number of officers who joined in that chase to try to bring it to a safe conclusion, and it sounds like they did.
If you look at my video, there was probably about 20 to 25 officers and squad cars at that scene, unmarked and marked. That red pickup truck was an officer as well.
And I could see that video as you're driving through. I don't see the other. And go ahead and send it to me if you've got it once we get off the phone. I'd love to take a look at it. So you're saying it's a video of him being basically wrestled to the ground as police are making that arrest.
Yes, and if you didn't get the video, I'll reissue it. Resend it to you.
Go ahead. Al Duarte at WGNTV.com.
Yes, you got it.
Thank you, Frank.
To that phone number that I got just before?
Sure, you can go ahead and send it to me anyway, or send it to our desk, and I'll make sure we take a look at it and get it, turn it around on air for folks. Frank,
if you have any questions, call me back. Thank you.
We will. Frank, we appreciate your time so much. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Frank.
Thank you.
Frank's a
Wow,
good
what
guy.
what a conclusion here to a just an awful day that will go down in our memory for many, many years to come. Sadly, this was the day that our area joined that list of communities dealing with gun violence, with mass shooting victims. In this case, 6 people who lost their lives going to a Fourth of July parade in Highland Park, and 24 victims who also suffered gunshot wounds. But now word of an arrest. The suspect, who police believe was behind the shooting, is now in their custody.
And we'll be right back as we continue our coverage.
All right, I'll leave it there for now. I'll check in later tonight after they get some more information from the guy.
Actually, we continue to watch that live picture right now as you see more troopers descend on that area where that arrest was made. Again, what we're
Soggy
hearing
kid,
from
yeah, that's
authorities
awesome.
as of the
I was
last
born and raised in
15,
Chicago.
20 minutes or so.
And I used to take the
is
drive
that
up
suspect,
Sheridan
or the person
Road.
of interest, as they're calling him at this hour, was
Still loaded,
driving
it's loaded.
through the North Chicago area, and a
Used to make that drive up
Chicago
north,
police
up
officer
Sheridan Road,
happened to spot that vehicle,
looking
that
at all the
police have been
homes,
looking for at
sightseeing,
Buckley
and
41.
ending
It
up at
did
the
appear to
Baha'i
be just a
Temple.
brief pursuit.
And we would
So
visit
it
that for a
just
half a
does seem
day.
that as police tried to
It's
stop
beautiful
him,
up there.
tried to stop the vehicle, he did start trying to get away from police. So there was a brief chase. They then managed to stop him in Lake Forest, where he finally just gave in, stopped the vehicle, which is what you see there. And police were able to get him out of the car, arrest him, and they are now on their way to the Highland Park Police Department, where he will be questioned. They will positively connect him to that incident today in Highland Park, and then they will bring about charges. We are thinking at some point later tonight, but at this point, they are calling him a person of interest rather than a suspect until they sort of cross all their T's and dot all their I's today.
Think about where we were early on.
Yeah,
when we
they
had
just
a
want to be safe.
description.
I had a
Not
photograph
too
of a different
long after
person.
we
Somebody
first
was
got word
circulating
that
a different
gunfire
name and a
erupted
different
at this
photo.
parade. Later, would we learn
Said he was a
that there
neo-Nazi,
were
white
multiple
supremacist, and
fatalities. That number started at 2, and then
I didn't
to
post that
6.
because I
All
wanted
we
to
knew
make
was
sure.
that, police had a
I didn't
vague
want to post
description of
somebody's
a slim,
random
built
photograph.
young
Maybe
man between the ages of
somebody's playing a
18 and
prank on
20,
each other or something.
longer, dark hair,
And I'm glad I didn't, because it was not
white
the
or
same
blue
guy.
shirt, and that was all we knew for several hours. That's all we knew. Police, I believe, had a clear idea of who the suspect was much earlier than we anticipated, but they were able to put a name to that suspect. A short time later, we got
No,
to
not
see
at all.
his face in that photograph. And then before we came out to that news conference there with investigators, we heard from our own Ben Bradley, who got a tip that this investigation came to a conclusion with the arrest of this person of interest / suspect, who we now know as Bobby Cremo III, 22 years old, who lives in Highwood, a community right next door to Highland Park. Our Jenna Barnes was there as federal investigators were arriving at that home. He, as we understand it, was not there, but he was in the vehicle that was given as a description, that silver Honda Fit with the license plate. And it was a North Chicago suburban police officer who spotted that vehicle. And I don't know if he was in that red pickup truck, but was able to bring that to a conclusion after a chase ensued here on 41. And he is now in custody. And Lourdes, as you said, was being processed, interviewed.
As we speak,
charges
correct.
to follow.
Okay, as we continue to watch what's been happening, we know that the parade route and the area around Highland Park where this parade took place early this morning at about 10:15, there were
Probably the dog checking for
hundreds of
explosives
people.
before they
line up
start
every year. It's a very
picking the
popular
car apart
parade, very
or towing it away.
well-visited, suburb of Chicago, Highland Park is. People then just say they heard what they thought at some point was fireworks. Some thought it was gunshots. Some couldn't hear anything. And that's when folks started running. Some of them going into businesses. They grabbed their children. They grabbed whatever they could and tried to clear the way because they didn't know what exactly was coming their way. Come to find out, there were shots being fired from a rooftop at that parade route. Of course, very scary, very traumatic for so many people who today have had to deal with perhaps a loved one who was killed or a loved one who was injured. And all 6 people were killed. More than 25, we're told as many as 31 people were injured. 25 of those were gunshot wounds. I do want to take a moment to talk about one of the victims that was killed, Nicholas Toledo, 78 years old, a grandfather. His family has set up a GoFundMe page today to pay for his funeral expenses. That GoFundMe page at this point, and I'm going to run it again, has raised about $10,000, just a little over $10,000. That family went to that parade really to have a good time, to enjoy the 4th of July with their family as a family. So it wasn't just the grandpa who went to that parade, but so many of their relatives went there together, and they are leaving today with just, just a broken heart today as their grandfather, patriarch of the family, Nicholas Toledo, has passed away.
Looks like the Honda Fit was struck from behind. Maybe that's why they can't open the door. Anyway.
And we have been reporting all
good news.
day
They
long.
caught the
man
freaking dude.
and suspected of the mass shooting in Highland Park has been arrested.
Julian Cruz, who's alive with
I got him
that part of the
alive.
story
I mean,
this
I don't
afternoon.
know. I've got mixed emotions on that. However, at least now they can ask him, what the hell, man? What's up? And I know, don't start, David. I knew this was going to start. Another white kid in custody, no shots fired. Meanwhile, another kid. Well, this dude was not shooting at the police. All situations are different, man. Every situation is different. They're not all the same. You can't compare. And having said that, what they did to the other kid was freaking horrendous, but that's for a later show. But I get you, David. Yeah, Highland Park is a beautiful area. And anyway, that's all right now. Glad they caught him. I'll check in with you guys later once we got more update on any other information that they decide to provide about the guy. But they caught him there. The police officer spotted him. It was a brief chase. And right there, another officer joined. I believe it was an off-duty officer with the red pickup truck. And they stopped him there and put him on the ground, took him into custody. So, yay. Good done. On the upside, he's alive. They didn't fill him full of holes, fill him full of lead. Now we can find out what the hell was on his mind. And but if he wasn't, if it went the other way, I don't know that I would care either. So.
We have to do more.
All right, thank you. Yeah, this press conference, if you saw it earlier, I posted on the last show.
High capacity magazines and so many other
Just another waste of time, patting each other on the back. It's like, you know what? Give us the information. You can kiss each other's ass later after the press conference. We want to know facts and information. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you for tuning in.